The greatest guitar player on Discord, man.
Maybe greatest ever.
Yeah.
Mr. White, jamming live. Greatest ever. Give that a like. All right, welcome everybody to Transparency and Merit.
Yeah, welcome.
Harsh trade-off.
You know what, dude? We are facing some harsh trade-offs, the harshest ever. And you know what, dude? I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel. I just see really harsh times ahead of us. And, man, I don't know what to tell you.
You're damn right that guy can play guitar.
He can.
Wow. Take a break, dude. Woo. Maybe we'll get back to some Mr. White later. But, yeah, that's we're going to join the Mad Shangi show in a few minutes. I sent you the link. Did you get that?
The link for the show, I don't know if I got that yet in the Skype box. Did you send me another link?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, right underneath it, I put that is the link to the Shangi show. So whatever's right above it, that's the link. And so, yeah, we might, let's see, that's 600. So, yeah, is everybody getting unemployment? Did you have to, you're not working, right?
No, man, I'm not.
Did you get around to applying?
I've tried, but the system shut down, and
Big hope to Todd Morris. Hell yes, tonight's gonna be big time.
Oh, you know what? We're not. Oh, you know what? I'm on with both Matt Shangi. I don't know. We're trying this whole new thing out. So I'm on with Matt Shangi and you, Joe. So okay. We're trying to do like a simulcast here. So I got Joe on, and I got you, Shangi. I know you're not on yet. So
are you guys live already?
We already went live, but so far you're coming through our show, and I think Brian's going into your mic. So far so good. I didn't know if it would work to go into two different studios.
Yeah.
There's no echo or anything.
What's that?
I don't hear echo. I don't hear any echo on my end. It sounds good. So
far, no echoes. It's been pretty good.
A little bit of Patriot Gregging, but that's fine. On your end, Matt, Mad, or is it on your end? Is it Mad Shangi or Mad Shangi?
Mm-hmm. Mad Shangi, yeah.
Now, does anybody know your first name?
I'm Patrick. What the hell is that? That's not a flashlight.
Hey, by the way, what nationality is Shangi?
It's a made-up word.
Oh, I thought that was your actual. I was like, is he Asian or is he Arab? I didn't know.
Shangi, are you going to get into the video?
I'm Canadian. I'm Irish Italian.
Oh, really? Okay.
I know a little bit of a Shangi background. A little bit. He was raised by a pack of wolves.
That's right. Wolf pack.
The wolf pack.
Corey Feldman's wolf pack.
Dude, are you planning to talk about your video when you start your show?
It's not relevant to this topic.
Can you tell us before you go on real quick? You made a video earlier today. What's going on?
If you want me to bring it up during the show, sure, I'll talk about it.
Yeah, man, of course.
I'm sure a lot of people are curious.
Yeah, man.
Blowing up.
It's blowing up? Hey, man. Good.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by the title, so yeah, I definitely want to. Well, and we're almost there, anyways. We got another 5 minutes, so or less. So.
Oh, 3 minutes on my end.
Nice. Maybe I'm just off. I just follow the sun. I don't.
About 3 minutes, Joe.
Yeah, I don't use these so-called clocks.
Yeah.
I don't use clocks in your world. I'm on my own time.
Good.
I'm going to try to fast for about a week starting now. I'm not going to eat anything.
Shangi, are you a
Why?
health nut? Are you?
My diabetes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That actually help diabetes?
What's that?
Fasting?
Yeah, it does.
Does fasting per week help? Oh.
And I consider it a form of discipline because if we're going to go through like really hard times right now, the more I can control my appetite, because if food's not on the shelves, we don't have, bread, butter, and ice cream and all that other stuff. I don't need it. I'm like, I can go, 7 to 10 days without even eating. I don't know if I can do that though.
Time is the ultimate construct, Debbie. You should know that. It's just a construct. The only source of time should be the sun and the moon, and that's been completely bastardized, demonized, and screwed with. That's why you have all these screwed up calendars and daylight savings time and all this other bullshit. But there's really just one way to tell time, and that's the sky clock.
Yeah, tell that to my boss. By the way, I wanted to mention that we're only a minute. We're less than, I think, about a minute from the Shangi show.
And by the way, Brian, you are your own boss. You better start thinking that way.
I'm going to try to think that way. Hopefully we can make something of this crap. I'm feeling a lot of doom and gloom going on right now, though. Doom and gloom.
Obviously.
Sorry, I saw you. There's a UFO behind me. Slowly moving, airplane-like UFO.
Yes. Hovering. Going in for the land.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I think you could actually see it. Yeah, there it is, right behind me.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know it could pick it up on cam.
You can, yeah. By the way, last night, I have a nice telescope. Last night, I took a picture of Jupiter, and I got 3 of Jupiter's moons in the picture.
Wow.
I know.
By the way,
it's 30 seconds to showtime. We're about to start.
There we go.
Everybody brace yourselves.
Am I in your studio or am I just?
Yes, you are.
I'm in Shangi's studio?
Yep.
Oh.
We're simulcasting together.
Yep. Wow. Fantastic.
All right, going loud, guys. And we are live on the match.
Hey, welcome back, it's Patrick, right? If I
yeah,
all right.
You doxed me.
Am I not supposed? Am I not? By the way, am I not supposed to say that?
Just go with Shangi.
I don't care if you call me Patrick. Pat Shangi's fine, Patrick. Patrick, if it's easier, I could call you Joe and Brian. So
it doesn't really. Yeah.
I'm just gonna call him Albert.
Yeah, I'm still getting to know you guys. Which one's Joe and which one's Brian?
Brian is the one with the sunglasses and the white shirt, and Joe is the one with the Phillies hat on. So yeah, right now I have a lot of doom and gloom. I'm just I feel there are no easy answers, only very harsh trade-offs in this whole pandemic.
I just get a lot of fear porn, and every time I ask somebody, like, when do you think the pandemic is going to end? And they're talking about June, July. Like, really? I know I'm not going to put up with fucking being quarantined any much longer than this. This is fucking crazy.
Well, I mean, the thing is, even if it's fear porn, whether it's real or whether it's fear porn, the people who are in control, the majority of the people who are in control believe it, they're pulling a fast one on us, making the majority of the people believe it. And either way you look at it, we're in between a rock and a hard place, because if this is real, people are going to die. They're going to die both from the coronavirus. I shouldn't say that. Oh, shit. From the pandemic, or they're
Wait
going.
a minute, are we not allowed to say coronavirus or what?
Well, technically, they.
Yeah, we've had shows yanked for we're not sure, but the common theme to all those shows that have been yanked was the virus.
Yeah, every time we mention that, you just stand a chance of getting yanked on the chain hard.
And they just yank it. It's not an account strike. It's not people flagging it. They just take it down.
They just take it down.
No strike.
See, there's a conspiracy right there. Fucking hashtag YouTube gate. There's our first gate of the evening.
We've got plenty.
Every hashtag, every damn gate, from Watergate to Pizzagate.
Well, I'll tell you something. YouTube Gate. I mean, that's a good point, because YouTube has been and the powers that be have been messing with independent creators for the longest, and now these buttholes are going with verified sources. And I'd like to know what is a verified source, or a trusted source? What is a trusted source? Is CNN a fucking trusted source with Chris Cuomo, that numbnut who went outside on Easter and it was supposed to be in quarantine?
Well, he probably has inside information, like knowing that the thing was a big fucking lie.
Well,
that's probably why he went outside.
All I know is that, Fredo fucking went outside on Easter and he was confronted by a bicyclist. And actually, the bicyclist is now on Tucker Carlson. And
wait a minute. Isn't the bicyclist breaking quarantine too? If he's out there and caught him?
Well, the bicycle, I mean, he doesn't have corona. Chris Cuomo has fucking, has this virus. He caught him. The cyclist caught him on Easter Sunday with his family, with a house that he was building. And he was like, aren't you supposed to be quarantined? And Chris Cuomo had a shit fit and told him and threatened him. So, how can we believe anything these fucking people tell us if they can't even follow their own rules and they're supposed to be a trusted and verified news source?
We got Rowan H. Hello, Shangi. Filippo, what's up? All right, Switch. Hey, baby. All right. Hey, Filippo on fire. I caught your show the other day. You were talking about, what news source would you trust? And I heard, people were saying, well, I'd trust Fox News over CNN. And I was thinking, well, I got a problem with Fox News as well. They're full of shit.
I think, aren't they all? I mean, to a degree,
they're all full of shit.
Aren't they all full of shit to a degree?
Right. They're talking about journalism is not what it used to be. It's not what I remember when we used to do career days, still in elementary school to junior high school, and they'd have people from different professions come for career days. And I remember specifically when a journalist was talking about her profession and how you're not allowed to inject your own opinion. Well, isn't that what the news is today? We're basically turning on the TV for somebody else's interpretation of the news, not the actual news. We're not getting informed. We're getting some fucking dipshits analysis of what's going on and being told what to think.
Well, the fuckfaces at CNN and I think in other stations don't want to play all of the president's doesn't want to
say something a lot, especially when they're the news network that's doing the most smearing of President Trump. Right? Why are they so scared of this guy?
Who the fuck knows? Yeah, I mean, they don't want to play his briefings, his virus team, and because they say they'll interpret it for it. I mean, because he's lying so much, we'll have to interpret it for you. Not fucking children. Hear what the fuck he says. And if you want to do analysis afterwards on what he says and spot check, but play the whole fucking thing. Fuck you for fuck you for telling me that I can't hear that. It's a bunch of bullshit.
I'm pretty sure Wag the Dog was a documentary, not a movie.
Well,
Right.
it seems like that now.
Yeah.
You know. And before we move too far off of that, that YouTube gate, by the way, became a meme in 2018, and it was all over that original when they changed their policy and censorship started to really grab all these podcasts and content makers for YouTube. Everyone started yelling out YouTube gate. I just wanted to point that out because I know we're walking away from that.
Now, the ad apocalypse came in around 2015, and that came around over hate speech laws. You know, people were saying these people are promoting hate speech.
I think they were mostly going after the alt-right channels, I believe.
But anyone that was, anyone that had a different view than the civil rights industrial complex, who challenged their view, they were telling, hey,
civil rights or social justice.
Well, I mean, civil rights. The civil rights industrial complex is rooted. I mean, the SJWs are rooted in the civil rights industrial complex. So that's where they suck on the teat, and it's just like a little bit sterilized. But every civil rights program now is just it's all social justice shit. Every civil rights organization is just a bunch of social justice crap. And if you can't challenge it, they won't debate you. They'll only smear you and try to censor you. They're the biggest authoritarians, I think, in America, if not the entire West.
They're the fastest. Well, I remember a movie called Demolition Man. And it's like basically Brave New World in the 90s, and it was talking about that movie was all about political correctness taken to the extreme, and which is basically the society we're living in now, right?
Yeah.
In this Demolition Man future, right? I remember I was thinking, we're living in Demolition Man when they started giving us a sodium tax. They're going to tax us for how much fucking salt we consume. Really?
Yeah.
That's what happened in Demolition Man. Well, they outright banned salt and pepper, spicy foods, anything that's bad for you, basically. And they controlled free speech because your profanity was like a finable offense in that movie. That's going to start happening these days.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, what? Here's the deal. I'd rather make my own bad decisions than someone else's good ones.
So let's get to the very first gate, that started the whole trend of every political scandal, blank gate, this gate, that gate, gate. Watergate really was the first, and that was before my time, and I can't say I'm not too knowledgeable about what happened. I just know what the basic story that we've been told. Nixon had people break into the Watergate hotel, and I believe it was to steal some files. Do you know exactly what was going on with Watergate?
Well, I was just a child when Watergate came about, but from my understanding, he wasn't charged for orchestrating the break-in. It was he was basically taken down because he knew about the crime.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and so and it's what I mean. He was taken down for doing far less than other presidents had done. I mean, Kennedy was banging a mafia princess on the side, and and just essentially stole the first election from Nixon. With Chicago. So these guys have all done, there is selective history here. And everyone, there are people that love Kennedy, my father included, who shook his hand. My father actually shook Kennedy's hand before he was assassinated by Lee Harvey
Wow.
Oswald.
If you believe that.
Yeah, well, you know what? For me, my father didn't believe it, but
I don't.
I do. You know what? And that's what transparency and merit. I'm a person who believes that there was only one fucking shooter in the grassy knoll. I mean, in the
book tower, you mean?
Yeah, the book tower was Mr. Lee Harvey Oswald.
You're shitting me.
A former Marine.
My-
You know
my-
what? I'm being honest.
From my perspective, it was the biggest insult ever put on the American people. Sorry, go ahead.
I think there are.
No, you go ahead.
I think that there are plenty of verifiable hoaxes and things that are being brought in the wool is being pulled before not only America but the world's eyes. I don't think that's one of them. I could be completely wrong on that, but I see things that are far more verifiable.
Well, I've seen the Zapruder film.
So have I.
And he's clearly shot in the front of the head, right? So the book tower was behind him.
There's a spike.
Right? And his head goes from back and to the left, right? And I believe there's more than one shooter. He was, a hit like that would have been coming at 3 angles, a killing circle. I find it hard to believe that it was all one guy and not a conspiracy.
I don't know what. And I don't know why the powers that be would want Johnson over Kennedy. I have very, I just.
This underdog says Watergate is Republicans breaking into Democrats' headquarters for info, even though Nixon would have beat McGovern anyways in the 1972 election.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doug.
And there's plenty of reasons. I mean, there are plenty of reasons why that Watergate break-in happened, and we'll never know the full. I don't know if we'll ever know the full extent to why that happened. And the same thing with the Kennedy assassination. I don't think there'll ever be any.
Says watch Jesse Ventura conspiracy theory show as they tried to recreate it and proved to have more than one shooter.
Now, by the way, Jesse Ventura might just run for president.
I hope so. I like him. I'd vote for him.
in Canada. Now, what do you think of your own president, Justin Trudeau, blackface himself?
Well, we call him a prime minister.
Oh, prime minister. Yeah, prime minister. Yeah, jeez.
And I think he's a goof. And it's the same old shit with most of the prime minister here in Canada. Most of them tend to be French. And there's definitely a bias towards basically the minority group in Canada, which is the French. Give me a break. French is the official second language of Canada when there's more Filipinos here than fucking French people. Give me a break. There's more people speaking Filipino Tagalog here than French people.
Now, yeah, Justin Trudeau seems like the social justice prime minister on steroids. He's very social justice-y.
Doesn't even believe any of that shit he spouts. He's the typical male feminist, the kind of guy that would say whatever a woman wants to hear to get in her pants, right?
Yeah.
Whatever dumb thing's coming out of her mouth, he's gonna nod and go, "Yeah, I agree, totally." The ultimate simp.
Now, does he have corona, or is it just his wife? I shouldn't have said that word again.
Oh.
But
we're talking about the beer Corona beer.
Yeah, the Corona.
The
My Sharona.
My Sharona. I think it's just his wife. I don't know. Where'd she catch it from?
Yeah. Well, I heard the Queen of England has My Sharona, and she's
to kill her. Oh my God! If she survived coronavirus, then nothing will kill her.
No.
Look how long it took to kill the Queen Mother, right? And she was 200 years old.
about 102 or 103. Yeah, yeah. They say it's so stressful, but you know what? I mean, they live a long time. They get people looking after them head to toe. I'd love to be a king or a queen. You get to live a long life.
Look at this. Fire Ray Switch says, haha, I was typing that. And he said it. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, oh my God. Yeah. Maybe it's true. Maybe these people are lizards. Because I heard it was Charles.
Prince Charles also has the coronavirus too.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
So maybe they can share a hospital bed together.
Jeez Louise. So, anyways, I think the point of Watergate was like that was like the very first big scandal, and I think it really shifted the public consciousness to more skeptical. That was when people were really skeptical of the government and didn't trust the government. Because I guess before that, and especially in the movies and stuff, there was more patriotic sense that our owners would really care about us, right? I guess, right? America, God damn it, and you could really tell in the movies in the 60s and the 70s they were really cynical, they were really bleak. These conspiracy movies, All the President's Men, and what was that one with Warren Beatty? Fuck, what was that called? The Ipcress File?
Oh God, I forget the name of that with Warren Beatty, but I remember All the President's Men. I remember they did a TV miniseries called Behind Closed Doors, and I mean it's just I don't know. I just and I don't know America before I was born in 69, so 74. I remember watching Behind Closed Doors with my dad, and just, like I said, we came to realize that corruption is just part of the game. No one is honest because nobody wants to be brutally honest with the American people because, the government is about telling people what they want to hear. And it's about telling the voters what they want to hear instead of because we may have to make some really harsh trade-offs, and no one's going to say, hey, well, if we shut down the economy, there's going to be death on that too. Mm-hmm. A lot of people,
I think more people are going to die from being broke, not being able to afford groceries than coronavirus, really.
Well, not only because we're given a stimulus, but if the money becomes worth nothing, and if you're stuck if people are stuck inside and they can't, the processing, like for milk, there's processing plants or meat, making food and stuff takes people being outside, and if that supply chain is disrupted, there's going to be a hard time getting the food. And also, they're giving all these stimulus packages. Another problem can be the currency will be worth hardly anything, like it is in Zimbabwe or it is in
perhaps this is what they're trying to do to install a new form of currency, right? Try and get everybody on an electronic currency so Bill Gates can control everything.
Well, hey, look, you know what? I mean, I'm not one to believe that there's people behind a thing. I think this is either absolute panic, and they're not looking at any. I mean, there could be people who don't want to. I think there's a lot of people who hate the president for whatever reason, and they want to see him go down. And there is a possibility, like, hey, if we shut down the economy, we make everybody go inside. And
yeah, but it's not just the United States that's locked down, and everybody, and all the governments are lying. Canada's locked down. Here, everybody loves Trudeau here. So, like I said, I think this is about something to do with the world and these evil people that are trying to destroy the economy. Trying to keep people locked down so that there's no resistance. Liz Crokin seems to think that this is about martial law and a big military operation, mass arrest of pedophiles. But I find that
Well,
I
here
don't
they're
really
letting all
believe
the
that.
pedophiles and all the criminals out of jail in California.
Yeah. So this is all about forcing us into a socialist system where we have to depend on the government.
Well, that'll suck because if you have to depend on the government for your goods, good luck. They're not good at delivering anything.
That.
Try to get a box of toilet paper to wipe.
We're living off of you're living off of stimulus. We got the whole CERB thing. Where's JP, by the way? I haven't heard him throughout most of the show. Well, it's just been you and me.
I'm sorry. I'm not. This is great stuff. I agree with most of this.
He's just been eating his peanuts. By the way, Joe almost had I think, and I could be completely wrong, but we found out last night that Joe almost had, from Canada, a coronavirus, a person infected with a coronavirus. Joe, I don't know if you want to elaborate on that, but I think this person had deep corona, or I don't even say it, but he was infected with the pandemic.
Traveler last year, one of the guys in our network decided to do a road trip to America and hit a few states, and eventually he was going to end up over at my house or hanging out with Brian and I. And so he made a couple stops, and he was in an RV, and he's a big like he smokes a lot and drinks, and he's a Canadian. Not that all some of the Canadians we know are pretty interesting guys. You're a different breed. But so anyways, along his travels towards making his way towards California, he got sick. He started coughing a lot. He was feeling like crap. And so I was getting a little worried, and Brian and I were both getting a little worried. And then the zeitgeist hit. He was supposed to be at my house March 14th. I kid you not. March 14th, this trip, he started the trip early, like in February. And so as we were getting closer, then we have, the beer bug starting to hit the news. And I think it was like around the 12th or 13th, it really took hold of the news, and so everyone was starting to panic. And meanwhile, about a day or two later, I'm supposed to house our buddy Dennis, but he sounds like he's coughing. He sounds like hell. Like he sounds bad. Okay, and so what do we do? What's Brian's starting to back down. I tell him, I'll buy you a hotel room. I'll pay for your hotel room. But you're not coming to my house. Like
I didn't want that guy anywhere near me.
It's a great story. Anyways, he ended up having to book it back home to Canada before they closed the border.
No.
And he ended up in the hospital. I think a day after he got home, he was in the hospital.
Yeah. And I think it was for the coronavirus.
Turned out he had a bad lung infection, and he had an emergency surgery 2 days ago, but he's okay.
He caught that virus from.
Okay, dude, stop calling. Damn, dude, ridiculous, man. Obviously, we're not taking calls right now, man. Stupid.
Yeah, who the hell's calling during our show? Goddamn.
Is it Howard?
Of course. Who else would call 10 times? Idiot.
This guy, yeah, we got you might want to just cut. You know what? Why don't you just turn your Skype off, dude?
See how much of an asshole he is.
we got this fucktard who has no decorum when it just a complete animal.
Talk.
He calls 1,000 times. He wants to. Yeah, he's just a complete.
Makes life miserable.
So,
anyways, go on.
When is Corey Feldman's book coming out? By the way,
well, he already has a book.
Is it so? It's already out.
He's been pushing that.
Well, he had a book years ago called Choreography. That's where he first started talking about Haim's abuse in there, and that's what started the whole controversy between him and Judy Haim. You know, she's going on, what was it, Dr. Oz, saying that Corey Feldman has no right to speak about her son. Meanwhile, there's been rumors floating around. I've heard this.
Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
And yeah, you know, it's interesting. A lot of people who aren't in the know actually think that when Corey Feldman talks about that there's a wolf pack stalking him, they think it's a paranoid delusion, but it's actually not, because I know these people, and that's I did a video today. You were asking me about that before we went live. That's what the video is about. It's about Feldman. This group. Go ahead, AP.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I didn't know that the wolf had to do with Corey Feldman. That's interesting.
Yes, it does.
Hey, Brian, can you unmute?
$7,979 Susie Rostak. She's the main bitch that's stalking Corey Feldman, and she's doing this seriously at the behest of Corey Haim's mother, Judy Haim. Judy Haim's involved in this. I've seen her in the live chats myself when Susie's doing these hate streams, and not only Corey Feldman, but other people who are just normal people, average people trying to live lives. And these people are fucking with them. They're seriously sick and demented people. So I exposed a lot of my video today. I exposed these people they're calling me a fucking pedophile because they didn't like what I did when I clapped back and I put up community posts. I put a picture of this guy who's been stalking me. I put a picture of his daughter on my community tab, and I said, should I contact this little girl and explain to her why her daddy is showing dicks on his live stream as her avatar, and why he's stalking and harassing women? So that got a rise out of them, and they're kind of twisted into some pedophilia shit. So I exposed who the real fucking pedophiles are. This wolf pack, they associate with a convicted pedophile named Marty Weiss. Wow. Yes. And they're associating with a criminal named J.B. Gunner. And I just showed in that video him abusing his stepkid. And I've also shown videos previously on previous videos many times where he's beaten Chrissy, his wife at the time. Actually, still his current wife, because he's still married. But he's living with a new woman now since that incident on the last stream where he beat the shit out of her. He was with that woman and her kids. I called CPS on JB Gunner. They went on the run, went motel to motel, dropped the kids off at Anna's mother's house. And that's that. Now CPS can't get to them. Wow. So, but this wolf pack, Susie, is involved in actually paying money to this JB Gunner guy to make videos about Corey now.
Yeah,
that's the hashtag wolf pack gate right there, or hashtag Feldman gate.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
you look shocked.
Well, no, I mean, because I've heard that, and like, the problem with Corey Feldman is, people don't see him as, like, sometimes see him as a reliable source, and it's easy for them to shut him down because he's not as famous as he used to be, and
he's kind of silly, and he's paranoid, and there's things I question, like, when he supposedly got stabbed, the police said there was no laceration.
No.
So, like, who I side with, I'd usually go with the police over who's more credible in that. But there's no question in my mind, because I've seen this for myself. He is being stalked by these fucking weirdos as behest of Judy Haim. It is a conspiracy. They are associated with a pedophile named Marty Weiss, who's also involved. And they're doing really horrible things to people. They're calling CPS some people harass them numerous times. But they don't like it when it's done back to them, of course. So it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't buy the whole knifing thing. That sounded like a weird story. Corey Feldman grew up about 10 minutes from me in the San Fernando Valley, right? That's where I live. That's where I grew up. And
you met him once, eh?
yeah, I mean, I kind of briefly, I didn't really meet, I mean, like, was with a friend. I was with a friend who knew him.
I had to run in.
He was talking, and like, all I remember is he had a boatload of porn. This was when he was young. Obviously before he was married and had kids, but he was kind of embarrassed about all the porn he had. And it's like, you don't know me very well. When I was that age, that was one of the things I used to partake in myself. It's like I'm a big fat. I wasn't bald at the time, but I'm a big fat guy. What do you have to be embarrassed for? I don't give a shit what you watch.
I still like porn. I like to make my own porn, but
don't we all?
It got me in trouble. So
yeah.
Moving on. #Porngate.
Yeah, there we go.
Porngate. Our next date.
I remember, for a while, a couple of these, B or C or D list actors were coming out with porn videos, just to kind of regain their fame a little bit.
Oh, I remember renting the Pamela Anderson one at the video store.
I remember that too. Pamela Anderson.
The thing was, I was underage when I rented that.
You know what?
I was only 15 years old going to high school, and some clerk, I guess, thought it would be funny to rent it, to let us rent it.
Yeah, well, I did. I was 14 when I started renting adult films. Yeah. I got away with it, but then remember One Night in China.
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I don't think I have a desire to see One Night in China.
I remember that one.
Yeah, that was, and she needed the money, and then there was.
Well, she did a sequel. She had a whole career in porn. I believe she played She-Hulk and like the porno version of the Avengers.
I thought she died before the event, but I could be wrong. But I know that she was a steroid abuser, and I think she was also a cocaine abuser as well. I could be wrong, like what drug she was using, but I know she died. She died a while ago, So, but I don't, like how long the Avengers were up. But she might have done a She-Hulk Avengers thing.
The Avengers was 2008.
I don't know when. I don't know when China died, but I know that she died a while ago.
What was her name? China what?
It was just China. No, she was a wrestler.
China White is a different porno. No, her real name was something like Christine something, or no, Lori.
If you look up,
I don't know her.
WWE's China. You can Wikipedia her and find out when she
died in 2016, and in Redondo Beach.
So she might have done Avengers. So yeah, okay. So then I guess she did do Avengers porn. I just remember the One Night in China, and I thought she did. Back, and then I think the other one was called. Why am I laughing? It's
now everybody's wondering why we're talking about porn.
Back to we're talking about I guess. Well, it ties into Corey, but we're talking. But it was. I think it was back to China.
We were talking about Corey, and it went into China.
Yeah.
Went into China.
And we're talking about the actors. Some of the actors. But Corey was an actor that never did all that. He never did like a secret porn tape. And then I forget his name, but one of the rock stars.
Now we know of.
How about the guy from Saved by the Bell? He also Screech. Yeah.
Screech. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he also did a porn tape.
Hey, it doesn't count when the guy has to beg you to watch it. Come on, man! I was on Saved by the Bell. Don't you want to watch me fuck?
Yeah. You know what? I think I I think that he made
Yeah,
a little.
like no, everybody wants to rather watch Kelly and fucking what was the other chick's name? Who did Elizabeth Berkley play
Elizabeth
again?
Berkley. Did you ever see the movie Showgirls?
Dude, I went to
Yeah,
high
when
school
I
with
was 15.
Berkeley. I actually
Uh,
great story. I living in Los Angeles is a weird thing, but yeah, she was in my grade, and it was. I actually walked up to get my diploma, and they call one name from one side of the stage and one side from the other. And by chance, she and I walked up at the same time to get our diploma.
was
And I
she
don't-
taller than you, Joe?
Yes.
We got China's real name. China's real name. Somebody looked up for it. Is Joan Marie Laurer. That's it.
Laurer.
Now I remember.
Laurer.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
China.
Yeah, she passed away, and they did a. I watched a video on her like not too long ago, like a biography.
Was it One Night in China?
No, it wasn't the One Night in China or the Back to China,
Okay.
but Back in China.
With Chris Jericho, that was pretty good back in the day.
But God, those and I wonder if some of these, because the movie system is really going to go down. Like I don't see the movies coming back anytime soon, and I wonder if a lot of these actors.
I think they want to force everybody to switch over to Netflix or something like that too.
Yeah, maybe.
Just like fucking who wants to go to the theaters anyways? Everything's going to be just streaming now. And I hate that. I miss video stores.
I miss
video stores. I miss arcades.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of cool going to the. I'm gonna miss going to the movie theater though. I like getting the popcorn, and it was kind of an American pastime, but also a world. Like the whole world went to the movies, man, and to see it die like that, and also theater plays and stuff like that. I mean, I was never that big of a fan, but occasionally I went to live theater, and I was a fan of going to the movies. And seeing IMAX.
We got a lot of nice playhouses here in Calgary that I intend on going to do in this quarantine summer. Along with a bunch of other things I had planned before this fucking quarantine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I wonder how long. Like, when is it going to be when bars? When bars and restaurants are going to come back, let alone strip clubs.
I think they're on their way back. We're coming back. There are people starting to sneak back into their jobs as we speak. I'm starting to see it.
Well, that's good.
I'm seeing traffic pick up a little bit. I don't know if you are, Joe, but I'm seeing.
I'm seeing traffic pick up. I'm seeing more people outside walking around. We still have to be like, there's still like only need 10 people. Only 10 people in the store at once. All that bullshit. But
right,
there's more people outside. There's seems to be slowly going back to business as usual. I hope that they officially end quarantine so I can get some shit done.
Shit. Well, we can always, eject ourselves with fucking Clorox or something. I don't know. It's like, geez.
All right. I think that I'd like to get into hashtag Pizzagate because that was the whole reason why I started taking interest in the whole Corey Feldman story because he was talking about, exposing the pedophiles in Hollywood. And the whole Pizzagate thing came about because of the Bethesda emails. And this was really about following the Trump and Hillary election face-off. And it was just a lot of really interesting stuff coming on. And people were just brushing this like that's what started the whole fake news thing was the Bethesda emails. And then all of a sudden Facebook needs to jump in and fact check everything for you every time you post something. And then a fucking alarm goes off and goes, hey, according to Snopes.com, this is fake news. You're not allowed to share fake news, buddy. Not on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, now, yeah. And now they'll call it a conspiracy theory. I mean, the fact that, to me, the fact that we haven't gone deeper into the Epstein suicide is real. I mean, how could somebody die in a maximum security prison that was being completely watched? And all, like that, all of, I mean, like that's more than the Kennedy assassination or the fucking, the 9/11 conspiracy. This one right here, this Epstein thing, I'm surprised that more people don't like, what was going on? How could this happen? It just it boggles my mind that the cameras are shut off and he's allowed to commit, supposedly commit suicide.
Okay, I think I'm being viewed by it. I noticed that the numbers of people that are spiking, it just jumped from 9 to 234 people. And I don't think they're all real viewers. So, I'll be sure to let YouTube know that I've been view-botted.
What's view-botted?
It's when people buy bots to come and give like artificial views on your channel to make it look like there's like 2,000 people watching your live stream.
Is there a reason why someone would do that?
Well, the reason why somebody would do that would be to maybe to get somebody to get YouTube to jump in, somebody who's probably getting close to being monetized, and try and get his channel shut down. These are the kind of games that they played with another content creator named Coach Eli. They bought him subs. They bought him. They sub botted him. Sent the view bots. But what ended up happening was it ended up helping his channel because he got monetized anyway, and now he's got 4,000 subscribers. Thanks to these trolls that were trying to take him down.
Yeah, some of these people, whoever they work for, it's like, I mean, to me, I think sometimes the simplest answer is
Gate. Yeah. This is the conspiracy right there. This is the wolf pack, people. This is the wolf pack. Oh, well, thanks for the views, guys. Enjoying the views.
That's always good when you get a lot of listens out there.
Well, here's what's stupid about what they're doing now. Now I'm showing up in recommended videos because of these artificial views that they're giving me. YouTube's gonna be gonna see where this is coming from, right? They're not gonna fall for it. Nice try, guys. And plus, people are watching this live, and they're gonna see that you're trying to get me shut down. So if this channel, if I lose this channel because of that, there's already a channel. Waiting. Yeah. And everything's back up to BitChute. Yeah. BitChute.com/Shangi.
Yeah. Shangi, have they done this before?
Yes. Anytime. It's the Wolfpack. The Wolfpack's real. I watched the Red Letter Media video where they're I forgot which movie they were reviewing. But they started the review by doing like a parody of talking about the Corey Feldman thing, and one of the jokes was, "Oh, the boy who cried Wolfpack," and it's like people think this was a delusion that he came up with, right? Well, as somebody who was an outsider, who has seen these people infiltrate the small corner of YouTube that I was a part of, well, I can tell you, these people are real. I know Greg Harrison. I know Susie Rotzneck. I know these people. They're scum. They're stalking Corey Feldman, and they're pieces of shit, and they're making Corey Haim look bad. I don't know what kind of money is bankrolling these people, because they seem to have a lot of money to spend paying people like J.V. Gunner to make videos about Corey Feldman. And they're just going to make themselves like stupid because he's a convicted felon, a woman beater, a child abuser, and they're going to have him criticize Corey Feldman. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, I mean, and it's surprising how often the news will go and how selective their outrage is. If it's someone, if
views are going down. It went from 400 down to 370. Usually expected to jump up to 1,000 by now.
well, yeah, shit. Well, yeah, sometimes, yeah, but like I said, it's surprising how the powers that be, if they like someone, they'll be with them all the way, and they'll carry them to the ends of the earth. I mean, Cosby. I mean, there was stuff going on about Cosby for years of all the shit that he did, and he was completely protected by the mainstream. It was really alternative media and these and these social these
until now they thrown him under the bus. What made me question the whole Cosby thing was, why were all these women allowed to go on TV before the trial and basically say he's guilty?
Well, I mean, the thing is, people have been saying this about Cosby for years, and I know somebody like who worked for Cosby, and they said Cosby was doing shit for years, and it wasn't until social media, like alternative sites, put the shit on about him, and then the mainstream had to go along with it. And then what do? They shut down. They start censoring these social media sites. Because if it wasn't for, I mean, if social media had its way, Bill Cosby never would have been found out. Because they would have been censoring a long time ago.
That, what it was it was a comedian.
Yeah, no, it was yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
And I think that somebody like recorded this set and it went viral.
Hannibal Burgess, but it went viral. It went viral on these social media sites. If it hadn't been for social media sites, this shit never would have gotten out. And
that's why we need social media people.
That's true. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, that's one of the fucking reasons why we need social media, because people have been getting away with shit, and the mainstream media covers that shit up.
Yeah, that's why we got shows like the Matt Shangi show and Transparency and Merit.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because people will cover shit up. People will fucking like Bill Cosby, raping women, and some of these and Harvey Weinstein also got taken down by social media more than by the mainstream news. These people were covering for that fuckface for a long time.
I loved it when Ricky Gervais took the piss out of all of them, and they had to laugh and take it, and you could see the fucking anger in their face. A lot of them were genuinely pissed at Ricky Gervais there, but they're keeping up appearances, laughing at his jokes, and you could tell they were really embarrassed. Oh, hey.
Because the thing is, and they can't really.
Gene's dad is Hollywood royalty. Yeah. Let's talk a bit about Charles Sheen. I believe it could be true. The guy is a degenerate. I mean, I don't want to believe that happened, and then I'd have to come to grips with the fact that somebody that I've seen in a lot of movies raped a little boy. It's somebody who was in a TV show that I actually enjoyed. Raped a fucking kid.
Well, here's the deal. I mean, before and I want to say this, before I pass judgment on Charlie Sheen, I'll have to look at the entire evidence on that. And that could be true, but and Charlie Sheen has done a lot of degenerate things.
Right. How do you trust an actor for anything?
But I mean, here's the deal.
Well, here's the reason why I think it's true. Is corroborated. This story has been corroborated by a lot of people. Number one, the story about the incident on the set of Lucas. Number two, Denise Richards' divorce testimony was very disturbing. She's talking about catching Charlie Sheen watching pornography of underage, seemingly teenagers of both sexes, boys and girls. And she talked about being threatened. it behavior interferes for her own children, because like she had young children, and here's her husband there, you know, having sex with multiple people, going to prostitutes, looking up kitty porn, and when asked to do an HIV test, he went fucking ballistic, and now we know that he's HIV positive.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, he's like I said, he is a lot of bad things, and I don't know if he infected any other women with HIV, but you know, like I said before, for me, the one thing that we shouldn't be, and maybe I was doing it before, is people are entitled to their day in court, and they're entitled, like, hey, if Charlie Sheen ever wants to come in on my show, and I would assume for your show, the Mad Shangi show.
Up to him? Oh my god!
No. I'm just saying, if he wants to defend himself, he's, you know, like, to me, you know what the one thing that cancel culture does is they cancel people out before they have any. There's no trial with these people. They decide what you like what they did with fucking Roseanne. You know, they just decided you're off the air, and you know what? You get no, you know, there's no fucking.
I believe last time I told you my Roseanne story about why her son quit his podcast because she was busting his balls on the air, giving him shit about his content, and the tweet that was critical of Gilmore. Flash forward, she writes a tweet and gets in shit.
Yeah,
and believe me, she's wrote way worse tweets than that thing about the one that apparently looks like Clement of Gates.
I could only imagine. The thing is, the way she handled it. I mean, I don't know why she didn't go on. Why she didn't go on more shows defending her. Like, I mean, she could have gone on.
I think like on enough shows saying I'm sorry. Like, what more can I say? I'm sorry. I shouldn't have made that tweet. But the thing was, I think the whole firing her, I think that was a plot from the beginning. They were all for doing the revival of Roseanne. That's what everybody wanted to see, was the Connors back. That was her most successful show. She hasn't really had a successful show since then. Since I went off the air, she had a talk show that went nowhere, reality show that didn't really go nowhere, a cooking show that didn't really go nowhere. So she went back to Roseanne, but they didn't like the whole fact that Roseanne voted for Donald Trump. And that the character of Roseanne was going to be a Trump supporter. And then so they gave her these, ABC gave her these rules that they had to have some pro-Hillary content in there. Well, now now Roseanne's dead, and now it's the Connors, and now it's totally pro-Hillary. Now it's totally SJW fest. I mean, they got what is it? What's that girl's name? Sarah Gilbert.
And I think she was one of the main.
So Sarah Gilbert, Darlene's son, wears the dress.
Yeah.
Right. This is the SJW gender right there, and he's not trying to gender. He just likes wearing a dress. They're trying to normalize boys wearing dresses, shit like that. So,
well, I heard that Melissa Gilbert was one of the main persons that got Roseanne off, and it's like there are other people who have done really shitty things, like who's that? Wendy Williams made fun of what the hell's his name? The guy who did the Joker made fun of his cleft palate.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix, yeah, made fun of his cleft palate, but nothing happens to her. Or limited stuff. I mean, she gets people like angry and stuff, but she doesn't get fired. That was cruel. I mean,
here's an interesting comment. Every once in a while, the big dogs take the hit to save face. For all the others, one of them will go down. Example: Harvey Weinstein. Same thing with Sheen.
Yeah, well, to me, like Harvey Weinstein and Bill Cosby went down because of social media and uncensored social media. Now the fucking dogs have come out, and they don't want their dirty laundry. they don't want their dirty laundry out there, and they, the powers that be don't want their dirty laundry, and they want you to hear what they want to control the message, and they don't want their message challenged, and they'll use any reason to do it.
Well, I think that's on your end.
Oh, the noise coming out?
You got somebody messaging you from behind the scenes?
Oh, somebody, you know what? I'm on Discord, and God, this fucking thing won't shut the fuck up with it.
Discord pisses me off. They should have like one button that says mute all.
Yeah.
Instead of having to go into each fucking server and mute each server, so you're not, disturbed when you're trying to record something or trying to live stream.
You're right.
I almost missed MSN Messenger. God damn it.
Yeah.
Even that was a pain in the ass. ICQ was a pain in the ass. But then again, you could turn that annoying sound off with ICQ. Where was I? Yeah, circling back to GP, I want to get your opinion on the whole Pizzagate thing. Because like I said, Pizzagate was the whole reason why I was looking into the whole pedophilia stuff that made me stumble upon the wolf pack. But the John Besta emails, they're talking about the reason why they're really looking into this is because there's these really weird emails of people talking about cheese and pizza and hot dogs in a really weird context that were like clearly code words for something else.
Right.
You were following that. What can you tell me your thoughts on that? Do you believe Pizzagate is real?
I have a very, here's the thing. There's obviously a sick culture in Hollywood and in all, I think in media in general. There's just like this kind of sick ultra culture that's maybe thinking that they're above it, I guess. I don't know. I know there is an element to pedophilia, and I know there is truth to it, and I know it's out there. But when I hear these kind of memes, kind of like I go back a few years to when hip hop started throwing the Illuminati into all of the lyrics, and that was kind of the beginning of the end. If you think about it, it started. I forgot the rapper's name. Real popular old school rapper that started.
I see the Illuminati is a bunch of bullshit. Just wanted to throw that out there.
I think there is a ruling elite. There's no doubt that's
they are definitely using these symbols and communicating coded messages.
Absolutely.
That's definitely going on.
I have old books about symbology and how symbolism is used. And I mean, there's no doubt. That's all I see now. Now that I've read these old texts and you start looking for these things like, oh, okay, it's so many things right before us that we just didn't know, just didn't have the eyes to see it. And so anyways, long story short, with the Pizzagate thing, I feel it's kind of like a sensationalism, kind of like the Illuminati. It's a weird sensationalism of pedophilia. And I don't know what to believe when it comes to media. And
I think there was definitely a lot to it because there was also issues surrounding this James Alefantis.
Mhm.
Why was this guy who owns a pizza place in DC called ping pong? Why is this guy connected to so many powerful people? A guy in a pizza shop. Why are these elites going to this shitty little pizza place? What's so great about it? Their pizza can't be that good. That they're constantly going on about pizza in their emails.
It's a weird
classified government emails. It's just really fucking strange. And I believe who was it? Was it John Podesta himself that had this weird fucked up golden statue of one of Jeffrey Dahmer's victims?
Oh boy, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hear that one.
and weird pedophilic art on James Alefantis' Instagram, and the art that was in the Comet Ping Pong. And the logo of Comet Ping Pong was very similar to the, the logo of a pedophilia organization, recognized by the FBI pedophile symbols.
Yeah, these things.
Prior Iceman says, in WikiLeaks explain a lot of the codes. Yes, so hot dog was, I believe, was a boy, and cheese is a girl, and extra cheese is like a very young girl, I believe, if I remember correctly, as it was explained by WikiLeaks.
Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I feel more that there than I guess a secret elite. I think there is it's kind of secretive, but I think it's more of an ego elite that thinks they know what is best for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's basically what the Illuminati is.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a leftist elite. The elite used to be conservative, like particularly in this country. The elite used to be conservative. Now the elite is very social justice. They don't want to get challenged, and there is a part of me that thinks that they will do anything to maintain power, including shutting down the economy. Because I think sooner or later, these social media sites are going to, like, if the Republicans win the House and the Senate, if they win the presidency in the House and the Senate, these social media companies are going to be called to task. Because in my opinion, they are violating the 14th Amendment, at least in this country, equal protection under the law, because they're discriminating against conservatives, and conservatives are primarily white, and they're selectively enforcing their censorship policies, and yeah, and I mean, I would love to see Susan Wojcicki called before Congress and just ask her what is a trusted news source. Because that's what she says. We're pushing trusted news sources. What does she mean by that? Can she clarify that?
Well, I think trusted news source means the source that we tell you to trust.
Yeah, but I mean, like, where do you get, like, how do we know to trust that? What evidence do you have that this is a trusted news source?
Because it's approved by the government.
I guess. Well, are we to trust our government?
Yeah, what does that tell you when we're talking about, trust our news source? We tell you what news that you're allowed to consume. Oh, we'll analyze what the president said for you. This to me sounds like communism.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like left. I mean, it certainly, yeah, it sounds like leftism. Like, yeah, we'll decide what you want to hear, and we'll put out the snippets that we want you to hear. I mean, I can't believe that people are falling for this shit. This kind of
says symbols are historically used to create a division, fear, division, and a fight for power. Example: David K. Cult illusion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It seems like we are fighting. I think the main thing that we're fighting are egotists and narcissists out there in the world who think.
I think the main thing that we're fighting is a ruling class that's been ruling over us long before we were born, long before any of us were born. Well, this has been going on for centuries. This has been going back to the Roman Empire.
I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say I disagree on that. I think there is the ruling class is
what do you think our society is modeled after? We're basically it's the Roman Empire part 2.
Yeah, but the values of the ruling class have changed. The ruling class in America used to believe in America right or wrong. Now it's
when she said David K, I think she meant David Koresh. That church group in Texas.
But the ruling class used to be America, right or wrong. The West was right and noble. Now it's the West sucks, America sucks, white people suck, and we're by nature we can be stigmatized as racist. No other group can be. And if you question them and question their methods, guess what? You get censored. We won't debate you. We just censor you. And it's powered by ego. And because if they had to debate you, they couldn't give you a good answer, or at least a palatable answer, because they'd be wrestling with their conscience as well, because they know it's bullshit. I mean, part of the.
I'm gonna share something on the screen here. Here we go. Screen share. Now this right here is an example. See the spiral here?
Yes. The voodoo?
But the spiral here is the one we got to pay attention to. This spiral is a pedophile symbol. And we've seen this spiral symbol in a show called True Detective as well. That was a reference to a real life case, actually. That if you've seen the show True Detective with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Well, I'll tell you something, Shangi. There was a time, when homosexuality, they used to do, all kinds of, gay bars, and it was really hidden, but there was, quite a large gay community in Hollywood that nobody ever knew about, or at least the mainstream didn't know about. I mean, Rock Hudson for years. A lot of people, he was a masculine man that nobody knew that behind the scenes he was, he was.
That's funny about him being a masculine man, because before he had deep Rock Hudson voice that he had.
Yeah, he was no Liberace.
He had a very girly voice.
Yeah, that's correct.
And I heard the story of how he forced his voice to change to be deeper, more masculine sounding.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He stood on top of a mountain and screamed as loud as he could.
Yes.
Until his voice changed, and it worked.
Yeah. No, I mean they have techniques to make your voice deeper, and because he kind of sounded a little bit like Liberace. Liberace, the gaydar on him was, straight up, what's the guy? I can't even forget.
By the way, another symbol that I used to see all the time, and I think it was covered in that.
Oh, okay. Let me clarify something that Fire was saying. So the reason why that voodoo symbol there, she says that's the Voodoo Donuts logo. She says that the point is they have that donut shop in the middle of Universal. So the Universal Studios.
Well, the thing about like gay bars and gay clubs is that, because it used to be against the law to be a homosexual, and they, everything was really underground, and but there was a whole, there were a lot of Hollywood actors and people in the artistic community that were, privately gay, and there were lawyers and other people, and they would go down into these clubs, and I'm assuming the same thing could be said for pedophiles. There are probably pedophiles out there who are,
pedophiles would be even more below the radar than.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, they used to, people used to go to prostitution houses, and they'd be, underage girls there and stuff like that, and that would be their thing. And for a long time, even though Roman Polanski was guilty for sodomizing a 13-year-old, the Hollywood community, kind of supported him.
They welcomed him.
Yeah, actually, even here on YouTube, there's a guy named calls himself the Amazing Atheist. He's like, so what? He made Rosemary's Baby or something like that, or we should
Chinatown.
we should forgive somebody who's artistic. Something along those lines. It's like what
Well,
you know.
well, Whoopi Goldberg said what he did wasn't rape.
Yeah. Oh no. What Quentin Tarantino said was that girl was down for that.
Well,
Do you hear that?
Look,
Howard Stern?
you know, yeah. I'll tell you something. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did, but you know, the thing is, if somebody conservative said something even half like that, they'd be fucking canceled. And it's like cancel culture only works one way, and that's if you're a conservative.
Jody Theory says we have lost our morals. We threw our men under the bus to make them weak, so that there will never be an uprising against the elite that can be won.
Well, I mean, and if you want to go straight up, they've made the white man, the person of European descent, the European diaspora, made them weak throughout the world. When you can't, when in Rotherham, England, somewhere between 1,400 girls were were subject to these grooming rape gangs. And you can't even fucking mention that. And they hide the fucking report because they said it won't do any good. Why don't you let us fucking see it? And it just shows how much power they still have because we can't even get the fucking report out.
Just unbelievable.
It is. Truly.
Yeah. It's like, you know what? Here's the deal. Information should not be hidden. You know, any kind of information, anything. We're all adults here, man. We can fucking hear, you know.
Yes.
Let's move on to hashtag Twittergate. Now, there's where most of the censorship happens, right? They kicked off basically the great exodus. They kicked off mostly pro-conservative Twitter users and controversial figures. Most of those people moved over to Gab, and Twitter basically became a left-wing safe space, an echo chamber. And what I found interesting was they kept all the pedophile Twitter accounts that people were trying to report and get kicked off the platform. They're still there. In fact, people who report pedophiles, they're the ones that get kicked off the platform.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, I mean, I had a couple of Twitter accounts. I still have my main one, but I had Uncle Timmy Wise. But you know, now did you happen to see when Tim Pool was on with Joe Rogan and who's the guy from Twitter and the lawyer on there, and he just tore them a fucking asshole. And
I don't believe I saw that.
That was, you know what, that was really good. And he just explained to them, hey, you know, it's only going in one direction. You guys are very selectively censoring conservatives, and you're influencing policy. And Facebook does the same shit too. I mean, you always hear that Facebook and Twitter are gonna maybe become a little bit more user friendly and stuff, but that's all bullshit. They're not gonna fucking do it. They have their views, they have their ego, and the people that work for them. You know, it's a civil rights industrial complex, and they're not going to let anything happen.
YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, they're all connected.
Yeah. And they need, in my opinion, the best thing that could happen to them is that they're broken up. They're broken up or they're government controlled. Now that the government has given all this money to all these businesses, I'm sure Twitter and Facebook have gotten money.
Now, does anybody remember what YouTube used to look like before Google took over?
You know, I don't remember.
I can tell you what YouTube used to be like. Everybody was allowed to customize their own page to make their YouTube page unique. It was a lot like MySpace in a way, how customizable it was. Your YouTube page was basically your own page, and you can customize the background, make it look cool. But then Google took over, now every YouTube channel, everything has to look the same, and everything has to conform to the Google aesthetic. And they forced Google Plus, which nobody liked and nobody wanted. They forced Google Plus on us. It's a lot easier to track and follow my comments and my DMs. I don't even check my private messages anymore. YouTube/inbox, don't even bother checking that anymore. Not what it was. And now you're not even sure you're getting all your comments, or if you even allowed to see all the comments that are being posted. A lot of comments are hidden from you. You have to go look on this thing and go newest first just to see all the comments that are posted
what the fuck is that? I mean, like I said, we're all fucking, like, if we're all adults, let's have a brutally honest conversation. Like, I'm sick of these fucking snowflakes. It's, and particularly now that we're all fucking quarantined and we can't go out and meet. And by the way, if we met and we were the wrong political persuasion, we had fucking terrorists try to beat us down.
Right? Antifa.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even got Antifa here in Calgary. So I wouldn't be worried about those pussies.
Well, you know what I mean? The thing is, even if you
I'd be worried about the Antifa in the States, ones that are allowed to carry guns. And that's funny that the leftist Marxist group, they're the ones taking advantage of the open carry laws that they supposedly are against to menace and threaten people.
Well, there are two cases. One is in New York and one is in Portland, where the Proud Boys have defended themselves, and they're now under prosecution. And when they tried to use crowdfunding to defend themselves, to defend to get their defense team, they shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Proud Boys, they get an unfair rap, but really the whole reason why the Proud Boys started was to defend people from these fucking Antifa bullies.
Yeah. It was, basically defending against communism, which basically there's a lot of evidence that, Chinese communism was the ones that infected us.
Yep.
And
they did this on purpose.
Yeah. And these people are, like this Antifa group, they're fucking psychopaths. And that's what we're giving into now. We're giving into people who are into political violence and mobocracy.
And it's just interesting how much China owns our governments. Canada, the United States. China owns a lot of real estate here in Canada. Owns a lot of real estate in the United States.
It surprises me also.
The media seems to be covering up for China.
Yeah. Well, it surprises me how much the left controls both our government and both private and public businesses are controlled by the left and by the civil rights industrial complex. You cannot fucking speak your mind out against certain things. And if they feel it hurts a protected group, you can't say a fucking thing. They'll shut you down. They will strive to shut you down.
Hey, here's the trolls I was expecting. What took them so long? Little pussy threatening people's children. Oh, what you gonna do?
Well, they hide their faces, but they are protected by the Lawyers Guild. And even when they hide and this is the thing, they hide their faces, but when there was a fight in New York, and the people that they prosecuted the Proud Boys who defended themselves against Antifa, and those guys didn't even go before trial. There were no victims in the case.
Remember that teacher that got exposed? That was a member of Antifa that hit the guy with a bike. He
didn't get no jail time.
Holy shit. I haven't seen this guy in a long fucking time. Hey, Lord Clyde, you gotta send me an email sometime.
Yeah.
The Mad Shangy with 2Ds at gmail.com. Send me an email sometime.
But now, now even, what was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, this group is protected by the Lawyers Guild, as I said before, and these groups. What was it? I've lost my train of thought just a little bit here. I'm having a Joe Biden moment here.
Having a senior moment.
Having a senior moment, and I'm only 50.
We were talking about Antifa, the Proud Boys. We went to the teacher. He just cut off.
Oh yeah. I was going to say the middle school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
God, and I can't even remember her name, but we did a show on her. But she got off too, and she's been threatening people with violence for a long time as well.
I didn't hear about this.
Yvette Filarca. Yvette Filarca is her name, and she also got off. Now, granted, she did attack a real white supremacist neo-Nazi, which to me, white supremacist, it's kind of code word for. I would say it's. I forgot what it was. What I would say, but it's code word for lack of empathy for whites. You know, anything that has empathy for whites. I mean, actually, it's code word for racial vendetta. That's what white supremacy is. Because anything they can shut, you know, they can. If it's something they don't like, they can just call it white supremacy or racist. Racist and white supremacy are code words for vendetta because they want to bring up the past. That's just my opinion.
So why do you think there? It didn't used to be that way when basically whites were the acceptable target and weren't allowed to make fun of anybody else but white people. That's the way it is today. Why is it that it's not like that now?
Well, I think to a degree, that was the way it was until like for a long time through the 80s and particularly in the 90s, there was, just a big push to silence opposition. And it was primarily the social justice ring. And then when YouTube came along, there became a pushback against the white guilt, white supremacy narrative. And
YouTube, there's the whole anti-feminist movement that I was part of as a young man, because as a white man, I was my gender and being attacked all the time. I was tired of men being belittled, and especially and not taken seriously, and when they're victims of domestic violence, and just the whole paradigm shift, like men being expected to uphold conservative traditional values in a world that's completely feminist. And it's like, no, what's the point? Well, why do I gotta fucking pay you for everything?
Yeah.
And they, and support you, plus let you have your independence, right? So basically, I'm being the conservative fucking guy, while you women are trying to see you're equal, but you still want to be treated like you were pre-1950. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, there really is a double-edged sword on men. If you believe in equality and women should pay, if you even believe in equality, I mean, the truth is, if you believe in true equality, that gender pay gap is a complete myth, because on average, men on average, and not 100 percentile, but will work more hours, and will not, like if they have kids, it's the wife that's going to be concerned with the kids more than the husband. The husband not only marries his wife, but he marries his job too.
And men tend to take the more physically demanding, the more dangerous jobs that most women would prefer not to have.
Yeah, well, I think 95% of the work fatalities, and it could be lower, are men. We take the jobs where we go up on a roof, or we go under a fucking house that
Mhm.
smells of shit and other things, and we do the jobs that a lot of chicks. We work in the slaughterhouses and other places where chicks go, ooh, gross. I mean, but it's
Well,
like,
and there's a lot of other issues like that. Let's say the fireman test, like women weren't expected to carry as much of the weight as the men were, right?
yeah,
So they lowered the standards so more women could be firefighters. So that means we had less substandard fire people, and the men basically had to pick up the slack for the women. And
yeah.
as a guy in the workforce and having to deal with women in the workforce, I feel that kind of what's the
I mean,
word?
this thing fucks us.
I guess resentment of having
Yeah,
to work twice as hard and then
yeah,
having to babysit some fucking girl
yeah,
who really shouldn't be there.
dude. I mean, we're fucked either way. I mean, because people treat women nicer on, a guy, who wants to flirt with a chick, will show her how to do things, and like if you're on the job, if a good looking chick is on the job and you're on the job and you're both new, more guys are going to rush to help her than you. It's like, fuck you, learn on your own. With a chick, they'll give her all kinds of, kind of treatment. And I've had that happen
Exactly. And then
too.
on top of that, everything that way, and then we're expected, and then they want plus equality.
Shit.
So
Equality doesn't
anyway,
exist. Oh.
I think we're gonna wrap the show up here. Thanks everybody for coming on the Matt Shangi show, and we're also on the Transparency Merit show because you're simulcasting, right?
Absolutely. And we'll wrap ourselves up as well.
I'm sorry, Chang.
I
I've had a tired
tired
day.
day.
I think I'm
You were pretty quiet today.
no, man.
We were stealing your thunder tonight, huh?
No, here's the deal, man. I literally come from a totally different perspective, but I appreciate this perspective, and I just, once you guys get going, there's really no place to start over and start, kind of go backwards and kind of unwind what you guys are where you're at. So there just wasn't a place, but there's other shows where I'm sure you and I are going to be able to meet head to head and have similar conversations. It just wasn't my show tonight, but I appreciated it and I enjoyed listening to you guys go and riff off each other.
There wasn't a dull moment, no dead air.
Nope.
It's been a solid 90 minutes.
Indeed.
89 minutes, just 30 seconds. 30 more seconds, it'll be 9 minutes exactly.
Nailed it.
What's this? Congrats on getting 15K subs and not getting terminated again. Is it up to 15K now?
Jeez, that's pretty cool.
Subs?
That's amazing. Wow.
15K subs, really.
That's
something
to be proud of.
1.5K. Damn. Okay, that sounds more about right. Yeah, thanks, man. No, it's been a struggle. No, they're trying to get this channel terminated. Believe me, they're trying.
Don't let them. Keep fighting the fight. And we're just getting started. We have very few, but we appreciate going on a show like yours where there's some obviously there's some attention, and that's a good thing. I think hopefully that in our way. We're not.
That's why I seek out channels like yours to get you on my platform, and we network.
Yeah.
We
certainly
getting exposed to new people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially me. I'm tired of talking about the same old thing, the same old people. I need some fresh blood in here.
That's what
it's
about. That's what it's about.
To leave the old shit behind on the new video, the Match Shangi show. And I'm hoping that we'll bring you guys back and then add more people to that. I haven't really talked to Liz much. Maybe I'll get her on one of these days.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
I didn't even get a chance to talk about Citizen Kane. If you want me to bring that up, maybe I'll make one comment before we go off the air.
Sure.
That was the first movie about fake news, which was Citizen Kane. That's what Charles Foster Kane basically did. he made shit up to stir the pot to
Well, yeah,
get this in his favor, and yeah,
I forgot the
it's
country.
really-
I forgot the country, but the guy calls him and says, "Hey, man, your paper ran an ad, a story saying that we're at war, but there's no war here." And what was his response? Well, we printed it. It must be true.
There was a line in the movie Liberty Valance. He said, "When the legend
yeah, I've
becomes
seen that movie.
yep, when the
Jimmy Stewart, Sean Wayne.
Yep.
Who played Liberty Valance again?
Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin. That's it.
No, so you know,
Yeah.
we ought to, we ought to do a movie show at some time, man. Just,
We definitely do.
just riff on the flicks. But
so the quote from Liberty Valance was, let's see.
when the legend becomes
when the legend becomes myth, print the legend. No,
when the legend becomes truth, print the legend.
Print the legend. Yeah.
Or it might be when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. But
that movie was directed by John Ford.
And that's, you know what, and I'll tell you something, Shangi, that's as true today. People want their own perception, and when the legend becomes the truth, that's when they, like, hey, and they're printing all kinds of shit out there that is just, it's ego-driven shit, in my opinion.
It really is, and that's a great quote to end the show on. So
Yes.
Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for coming on. Lord Clyde Volmar, email me, and we'll talk about getting you on the Man Shangi show. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
You too, buddy.
All right, dude. All right. So if you can leave that room.
I just took that off. I just.
God damn.
Oh, should I not have done that?
No, that was perfect. What I didn't do is I didn't join his room. I don't think he was hearing me in time, so there was a big delay, and that was really what happened. But
But yeah. I mean, the thing of it is, I mean, and we can end it on this. They say when the legend becomes true, print the legend. I mean, when the truth becomes the legend.
When the truth becomes the legend, print
the legend. And that's, like I said, that is fucking true among a lot of these people. They want their own alternative truth. And if it doesn't fit their fucking narrative, then they're not going to print the truth. That's just the truth. And that's the truth today. There are no you know what? The truth today is, Joe, there are no verifiable sources. And just like America, why we have an armed society, we need an active press. We need an active, active groups that keep these fucking news things in line.
I went to Washington. We won statehood. I became the first governor.
3 terms as governor, 2 terms in the Senate, ambassador to the Court of St. James, back again to the Senate, and a man who, with a snap of his fingers, could be the next vice president of the United States.
Well, you're not going to use the story, Mr. Scott?
No, sir. This is the West, sir. When the legend becomes fact, print the legend.
Wow.
I mean, that's it, man. I mean, and I guess we got it. But yeah, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. And that's what they're doing today. From the fucking, what the fuck, the Central Park 5, those fuckers were found guilty, and now they want to fucking put them out as angels. I mean, they may be innocent, but there's a lot of shit in between that they're not fucking telling you. A lot of fucking lies out there. And all the other shit that we fucking can't cover.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. You know what? If it's a fucking lie, prove it. Don't just say it's hate speech. You know? All right, Joe. anything to add before we call this turkey a night?
No, I think we're good. Like and subscribe. Well, don't like it. Just subscribe.
Well, you know who's going to put a thumbs down because you didn't let him on, and he's going to do it about 50 times. Is how should we put? Well, Howard's not calling me.
I've got a song for him.
Oh, you do?
I do.
I want to write a song for Howard.
I got a song for him. Forgot exactly how. I think it goes, a boo, a hoo,
A boo hoo hoo. I don't want to play that song. Please don't play that song. All right, fuck it.
I could sign into
A
Skype.
boo, a hoo,
What?
a hoo hoo hoo. What's the matter?
Oh, yeah.
You don't like
Oh,
what
yeah.
I say? Boo. What's the matter?
Boo, hoo.
What's the matter? Are you gonna cry? What's the matter? Are you getting mad? Inflammatory talk. Inflammatory talk. All right, that's enough. Jesus, it's worse than Katie D's tape. All right, can we? Do you want to? Now, Liz is having a show right now. I wonder if we want to call up her show and see what the fuck she's doing right now. And should we end this motherfucker?
Yeah. Let's just end this one. Thanks again for listening. We're done.
All right.